Hello everyone, Zelrant here, and today I thought I'd talk about some comments I've seen as well as on the Discord regarding rerolling within Etheria Restart. My last video I talked about my top 5 reroll targets for launch. Now the big thing is that I didn't really think of to mention, so I'm going to be talking about it right now, which is the opportunity cost that rerolling presents. And that is because with the final test coming up, it is a paid final test, where if you spend money on it, you are going to get a rebate from the money that you spent with a bonus on top of it, with the first $100 effectively being double in-game currency. So if you spend $100, you get $200 worth of currency, and then it has diminishing returns as you spend more than that in the final test. Now, I'm not going to go through all those numbers here, but you can kind of look those up on the Discord if you want to see what those are. But $100 is kind of a good point to kind of get an understanding of what the opportunity cost is. So first, just kind of a recap on the re-rolling process from my last video. You can utilize re-rolling to guarantee your luck on the permanent banner to get a specific unit that you like. I mean, you can go crazy and wait until you get a double roll, which will take even longer. But one of the main targets that a lot of people are going to say is if you're going to re-roll, you should go over one of the light or dark units because they're the more rare and more expensive units if you're going to spend a lot of money to get in this game. So with re-rolling, you can guarantee one of these, although it's going to take a long time. And then you can, after that, use your targeted summon here to get a unit that synergizes well with them, or just another unit you like. And then you can pull on either Freya or Messiah's banner here, or both of them, and get those units. So you can start right off the bat with 3 units you want, or even 4 if you want Messiah as well. But the opportunity cost is what you can buy in the shop if you're a spender. Now, if you're free to play, re-rolling is the only way you can really get a head start. But if you're going to spend, you basically want to take advantage of that top-up. And if you're re-rolling, what are you missing out on? And so you can kind of look at stuff in the shop, and this is something you should do during the final test, is look at everything in the shop. Now, I don't know if everything is in here that will eventually be in here. There might be a more event-specific ones and all that. But the hyperlink shop here is where you have a lot of your spending options. Now, I believe more is going to be added. This is just kind of what we have initially on the test server right now. And so the big one, and this is the one that I'm going to talk about on launch, that is probably going to be the one, if you spend enough money to get this, this is the first thing you should buy, and that is going to be this beginner pack Quantum, and that is because it is a guaranteed SSR unit. This one is $50 or $51 here, because each of these coupons is basically the equivalent of $1. And so if you spend $26 in the final test, you will be able to get this on the start. And what that is, so I've actually bought it on this test account here. It opens up this banner for you. So it takes one of those polls to use this, and it guarantees one of the SSRs. You're not guaranteed any specific one, but it is guaranteeing you one of them. So if you're a spender and you don't really care about any specific unit, you just want to start off with multiple SSRs, you can do that. Then that way you can use this, you'll get an SSR. And after you get the SSR from this one, you can then use the targeted summon on this one to get a different unit, and then you can say pull, for example, for Freya or Messiah, and then you can start with a nice strong count with 3 to 4 SSRs that way. This one's a little bit more random, but if you're a spender, it does kind of get you in the same ballpark, and you don't have to deal with re-rolling. And when it comes to re-rolling for a specific unit, just so you know on the math here, you have a 25% or 0.25% chance of getting a light or dark unit. What we expect is about 30 pulls for a reroll process. We'll kind of have to see in the final test. So 30 pulls with a 0.25% rate has about 7% chance of you getting one of the light or dark units. And so you can say it's going to take about 15 reruns or rerolls on average to get a single light or dark unit. Random one, of course. So if you want a specific one, you have to divide that by 5, so you have just over a 1% chance to get any specific unit on the light or dark side, which means you could be spending 50 to 100 or even more trying to get a very specific unit. By spending money, yes, it's random on what you're starting with, but you're going to at least not have to waste your time with the reroll process. And you also have this banner here too, which has light and dark units only at a 1% rate. Now, this is a more rare currency, but you can use that currency that you get. You can buy this currency in the shop at a specific rate. They're a little bit more expensive than the normal ones, but that's a way that you can also guarantee a light or dark unit. But it's still random, while rerolling is going to be able to give you the opportunity to get a guaranteed one although it could take a very, very long time. But it is that option. And so it ultimately comes down to the approach you want to go at it. And kind of just looking at the shop and what some of the packs are to kind of give you an idea. I mean, you have the crystal trades here where you can see these little coupons are basically the equivalent of $1 that you trade in for your crystals here, which these are the initial top-up bonuses. If you're someone that, like, you max out and only getting the top-up bonuses on these, which is my general advice for anybody that wants to spend on these games, is never buy these at the non-topped-up bonus. You can start off with quite a few of these. If you spend $100, you pretty much can buy out this shop. And buying out that shop, if you look at like the weeklies here, it's going to get you a lot of pulls because that's 800 of them. And you're going to have like, I'd have to look at your crystal trades. So that's like 12, 6, so 18, 20. So like, let's say 22,000, just kind of a random guess. And so if you bought this every week, that's over 200 pulls right there. Or if you wanted to buy this one, which is for the light and dark banner. So this one at 10, so you're going to have just under 100 pulls. So you have one guarantee of a light or dark unit with that. But you also have some other options like this one down here. We're not going to go into all of them because everybody's spending is going to be different depending on what they can afford. Hopefully, only buy what you can afford. Don't spend money you don't have. Just quick advice on that. So those are the opportunities there. Like I said, though, the beginners packs are going to be the first ones you're going to want to jump on in if you're going to spend any money. Guaranteed SSR, you have some packs with a decent amount of pulls here. Another one with a guaranteed SSR or SR, and some other little ones here. And so you have, like, this one's $31 for 20 pulls and some other little stuff. So overall, that's the opportunity that you will be giving up. You'll have to kind of look at it for yourself because, like I said, everyone's situation is going to be different and everyone's goals on what they want to get are going to be different. If you don't care what units but ultimately it comes down to if you don't care what units you want to get, you just want to get a bunch of them, going the spending route and getting the rebate is definitely going to be the best option. But if you have a very specific target that you want, especially on the light and dark units, like I said, the only way you can guarantee them right off the bat, except for Messiah. If Messiah is the one you want, I mean, he's right here. You just go ahead and get him on launch. Quite easy. But other than him, the other ones, you're just going to have to try and re-roll until you get them. Now, I expect there to be other times that those units come out here and become available here. So if you're one of those people that's willing to wait until they get on a limited banner that's specific to them, then maybe if you're willing to wait, then spending in the getting the rebate and then just holding off until they get a banner specifically for them is going to be your best option. And then you get to completely avoid the reroll process. But that's kind of that there. I'd seen quite a bit of this discussion in Discord. So if you want to see other people kind of discussing the options and actually running the math on different spending rates and that, there is a lot of discussion within the Etheria Restart Discord for those people that are trying to figure out which approach is better. Like I said, when it comes to the probability, just some quick math, like I said, if we get 30 pulls per reroll, that's going to be about a 7% chance to get a light or dark unit specifically. And at that 7% chance, if you want a very specific unit, like one of them, it's just over a 1% chance. And when you kind of look at that in the grand scheme of things, that's going to take about 100 pulls or 100 rerolls to get that unit you want. And that doesn't guarantee it. That's just about on average. You can go 1,000 rerolls and still not get them. And if it's going to take, I think what I've seen is the estimate is going to be about 30 minutes to reroll. That means it's going to take you multiple days, most likely, to get that very specific unit. So you might have to taper your expectations if you're going to go the reroll route. And you may just not get the luck you want. You just have to accept getting maybe one of the other units that you want, but maybe not as much. So it's ultimately going to come down to that. Do you want to... You're kind of taking a gamble either way. Do you want to gamble your time or do you want to gamble your money? It's the way you can view it. Or you can do neither and just play the game and see what you get overall, and maybe you get lucky, or if you don't, you just have less units. Either way doesn't really matter. But ultimately, that's my thoughts, and I thought I'd just bring it up since that is one thing that you have to take into consideration is, yes, if you want to re-roll, you're going to have that opportunity cost of not being able to take advantage of the rebate. Now, if you spend money already, like when the final test comes out and you spend money, I would not throw away that account. I mean, at that point, you might as well just accept your rebate and go into the game with the rebate and then see what luck you get. And then eventually we should get a banner that'll have the light or dark unit that you want, like they have for Messiah here. And so you'll be good to go regardless. So you'll eventually get them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.